In the small town of Willow Creek, Ohio, Jack Thompson, 48, once believed he was living the American dream, not the glitzy kind peddled by Hollywood, but a quieter, truer version. His two-story house on Maple Street, with its white picket fence and neatly trimmed lawn, was a snapshot of contentment. Jack ran Thompson & Sons, a family-owned auto parts factory inherited from his father Henry. The business didn't make him a millionaire, but it paid the bills, allowed reinvestment, and built a nest egg for the retirement he envisioned. A cross-country road trip in his 1967 Ford Mustang, painted emerald green. The Mustang was Jack's passion, second only to his family. He cherished every curve of it, the roar of the V8 engine, the faint scent of aged leather in the cabin. Weekends found him in the garage, polishing chrome, tightening bolts, treating the car like a sacred ritual. "You love that thing more than me," his wife Sarah would tease. Jack would grin, pulling her close. "Nah, you're number one. The car's a close second." Sarah was Jack's college sweetheart, met at Ohio State in 1995. Her golden hair and smile could melt away his longest days, and her BBQ ribs were the talk of Willow Creek. After nearly 30 years, she still made his heart skip when she hummed softly in the kitchen, prepping dinner. Their daughter, Emma, 24, was Jack's pride and joy. Recently married to Eric, a promising engineer at General Motors in Dayton, Emma had her mother's smarts and her father's stubborn streak. Jack's life revolved around familiar rhythms: mowing the lawn Saturday mornings, watching Buckeyes football with Eric at Rusty Nail's bar, and gathering around the dinner table as Sarah recounted tales from the town book club. Each summer, the family joined Willow Creek's BBQ festival, where Jack drove the Mustang in the classic car parade, basking in admiring glances. He'd brag to neighbours, "I don't need more than this: a wife who loves me, a daughter who makes me proud, and a car that never quits." Yet in quiet moments, a faint unease gnawed at Jack. 3 years ago, a late-night anonymous call had jolted him. "Check on your wife, Jack. She's not who you think." And he'd laughed it off as a prank, maybe some drunk at Rusty Nail's. There were times Sarah got texts at midnight, quickly silencing her phone when he asked. Emma, too, sometimes shot her mother odd looks, as if hiding something. Jack chalked it up to paranoia. After nearly 3 decades together, he trusted Sarah. They'd weathered every storm, or so he thought. Unbeknownst to him, beneath this perfect picture, a betrayal was unravelling, poised to shatter it all. On a sun-drenched Friday morning in August, Jack was mowing the lawn in front of his Willow Creek home, sweat beading on his brow. He was prepping for the Mustang Memories car show in Detroit, where his prized Mustang would shine under the spotlights. Polished to a mirror finish, it sat proudly in the garage, ready to turn heads. Jack smiled, imagining cruising through the show's main strip, Sarah's proud gaze from the crowd. Emma breezed in from work, giving him a quick hug. "Dad, gotta talk to Mum," she called, dragging Sarah to the back porch. Jack barely noticed. Emma was always hitting Sarah up for cash new dresses, concert tickets for some pop star. He kept mowing, the machine's hum drowning out the world. But when he paused to wipe his face, sharp voices from the porch cut through the quiet. "Emma, how could you be so stupid?" Sarah snapped, her tone trembling with anger. "It was just one time, Mom." Emma shot back, defiant. "I was drunk and it was more exciting than with Eric. I'm not leaving him, but he's so boring sometimes, you know that." Jack froze, his pulse pounding in his ears. He killed the mower and strode toward the porch, grass clinging to his sneakers. As he neared, Sarah's back was to him, but Emma's voice rang out. "Don't act all innocent, Mom. You did the same thing, and Dad forgave you, didn't he?" Sarah went pale, her lips moving soundlessly. Jack stepped into view and both women jolted. Sarah scrambled to redirect. "Jack, say something. Emma went to a party last week, got wasted, and slept with some random guy while Eric was working late." But Emma wasn't backing down. Tears in her eyes, she yelled, "You told me Dad knew, Mom, that you only messed up once when you were drunk. Don't play saint in front of him." The ground seemed to buckle beneath Jack. "Knew what?" he asked, his voice icy. Sarah reached for his arm, but he stepped back. "Jack, I'm sorry," she whispered. "It's not what she's making it sound like." "Don't touch me," Jack said, his eyes like knives. He turned to Emma. "Sweetheart, burn this moment into your memory. This is what Eric will feel when he hears the truth. You're telling him tonight." Emma shook her head, tears streaming. "I can't hurt him like this, Dad." "If you don't," Jack warned, "I'll call Eric myself, and I'll suggest we split the lawyer fees." Sarah tried to intervene. "Jack, you're upset. Calm down. We can talk this out." But Jack whirled on her, his voice cracking with pain. "I gave you everything, Sarah. I worked 12-hour days so you could have this life. I treated you like a queen, and now I find out I'm married to a liar and my daughter's following your lead." The room fell into a heavy silence. Jack locked eyes with Sarah. "Who is he?" She hesitated, tears spilling. "Does it matter, Jack?" "It matters to me," he said, his voice steel. "I'll find him, and he'll pay." As Jack grabbed a duffel bag to pack, a memory flashed. That anonymous call 3 years ago. "Check on your wife, Jack." He'd dismissed it as a barfly's joke. Now it echoed like a warning he'd ignored. He snatched his Mustang keys, tossed clothes into the bag, and left without looking back. Driving out of Willow Creek, the town's welcome sign blurring in his rear view, he wondered, did I ever really know Sarah, the woman who slept beside me for 25 years? Jack drove his Mustang to Dearborn, Michigan, a 90-minute escape from Willow Creek. He checked into a modest hotel near the Mustang Memories venue where hundreds of classic cars would converge. He needed space to breathe, to think, to avoid Sarah's eyes and the betrayal they held. The car show was a perfect excuse, or at least a way to keep his hands busy and his mind from imploding. That night, under the hotel garage's dim lights, Jack polished the Mustang. He wiped down every speck of dust, checked tire pressure, adjusted mirrors, as if the car's perfection could mend the fracture in his heart. But memories of Sarah flooded in. He saw their first meeting at an Ohio State frat party in '95. She wore a teal dress, standing beside a hulking guy who barely noticed her. Jack had approached, offering a soda, joking, "I don't drink beer, but if you make me nervous, I'll need a whole case." Her laugh had hooked him instantly. He'd fought to win her, promising her the world. Now, that promise felt like a cruel punchline. The next morning at the show, Jack wandered among gleaming Mustangs Mark Is, Shelby GT500s, but his heart wasn't in it. Classic rock blared, gasoline and oil hung in the air, and the crowd's chatter felt distant. Hank, a Willow Creek mechanic, clapped his shoulder. "Jack, where's Sarah? She's always glued to you at these things." Jack forced a smile, throat tight. "Home. Busy." Hank raised an eyebrow, curious. "Haven't seen her at Rusty Nails in a while. Couple years back I spotted her there with some guy. Tall, brown hair, rough-looking. Thought he was an old friend, but—" He trailed off, sensing he'd overstepped. Jack's stomach churned, but he kept his face neutral. Rusty Nails was Sarah's haunt, where she'd meet her book club or girlfriends. Was that guy her lover? He pushed the thought down, but it took root, festering. That night, in his hotel room, Sarah called. "Jack, can we talk?" she pleaded, voice breaking. "I know I messed up, but 30 years together, that's got to mean something. I love you." Jack gripped the phone, then noticed a text from her number, not from her. "Meet me at Rusty Nails, 8 p.m. tomorrow. Don't tell Jack." Rage surged. "You're still texting him, aren't you?" he growled. "Don't call again, Sarah. I'm done here. Pack your stuff." He hung up, blocked her, and collapsed onto the bed. Sleep didn't come. Instead, he saw Sarah laughing with a stranger at Rusty Nails. He recalled her late nights claiming girls' time, her vague business trips to nowhere. Every memory now reeked of deceit, like a movie with half the scenes cut out. Jack rose, opening the window to let cold air sting his face. He gazed at the Mustang in the lot, its green paint shimmering under streetlights. "You're the only real thing left," he muttered. But even the car couldn't erase the hollow ache swallowing him whole. Cha! On Sunday, Jack drove the Mustang back to Willow Creek, his heart a lead weight. He hoped Sarah had left as he'd demanded, but opening the front door, he found her in the living room, eyes red and swollen. Around her sat her parents, Tom and Ellen, plus Emma and her husband Eric. The air crackled like a courtroom. Sarah stood, voice trembling. "Jack, I'm not going anywhere. This is our home," Jack scoffed, tossing his keys onto the coffee table. "My home. I bought it before we married." He scanned the room, eyes hard. "What's this? An intervention to make me forgive her?" Tom, Sarah's father, rose, his voice steady but firm. "Jack, you're a good son-in-law. Every couple hits rough patches. Ellen and I nearly split when I blew a paycheck in Vegas. This is nothing compared to that." "Nothing?" Jack roared, fists clenched. "She cheated, Tom. Not a drunken fling, but a years-long affair. I don't forgive that." Ellen took Sarah's hand, soothing. "Sarah loves you, Jack. She made a mistake. Everyone strays sometimes." Jack cut her off, his voice shaking with fury and hurt. "A mistake? She didn't tell me a damn thing. I had to hear it from Emma." He turned to his daughter, disappointment raw. "How long have you known?" Emma bowed her head, tears splashing the hardwood. "Since I was 16, I saw Mum texting someone, but she said it was an old friend. She begged me not to tell you, said it'd ruin us." Jack felt another stab, deeper this time. "You're my daughter, Emma," he said, voice breaking. "How could you keep this from me? Did I fail you so badly you couldn't trust me?" Emma sobbed. "I was scared, Dad. I didn't want you and Mum to split. I thought she'd stop." Eric spoke up, hesitant. "Jack, Emma told me about her thing. She slept with some guy at a work party. I don't know if I can forgive her, but I think you should give Sarah a chance. Your family's worth saving." Jack shook his head, staring past them. "You don't get it, Eric. This isn't one night. It's a lifetime of lies. I busted my ass for this family while Sarah lived a double life behind my back." Tom sighed, stepping closer. "Jack, I suspected Sarah for years. Saw her leave Rusty Nails once with a guy, tall brown hair, rough around the edges. I didn't tell you because I thought you'd rather not know, but you deserve better." Tom's words hit like a sledgehammer. Jack faced Sarah. "Anything to say?" She only cried, silent. He saw the woman he'd loved more than himself, now a stranger cloaked in secrets. "I'm getting a lawyer," he said, voice flat. "We're done." Sarah lunged, grabbing his shirt. "Jack, no! Please, we can fix this. I love you." Jack pried her fingers off, one by one. "You love me," he echoed, bitter, "but not enough to be faithful." He stormed upstairs, grabbed more clothes, and left. Driving past Willow Creek's welcome sign, he felt like he was abandoning his entire life. Deep down, though, he knew he couldn't live with a lie any longer. Determined to uncover the truth, Jack met with Carl Davis, a seasoned Willow Creek lawyer with silver hair and a no-nonsense stare. Carl advised a no-fault divorce to sidestep legal mess. "You don't need details, Jack," he said. "Knowing more will only cut deeper." But Jack couldn't let go. "I need to see his face," he replied, voice like iron. "I need to know why she picked him over me." Back at Thompson and Sons, Jack dug through old files Sarah had kept in his office desk. A hotel receipt from Dayton, an hour from Willow Creek, caught his eye. Sarah had called it a book club trip, but Jack couldn't recall her ever visiting Dayton. Then he found monthly bank transfers, small, consistent, to an account labelled TW. 2 initials, but they hit like a punch. Jack called Eddie, a buddy at the local bank. Hours later, Eddie texted an address tied to the account, a rundown house in Dayton's outskirts. Jack didn't hesitate. He drove the Mustang, the road winding through bleak neighbourhoods where weeds choked lawns and rusted trucks sat dead in driveways. He parked outside a sagging house with peeling shingles and dusty windows. A man shuffled out, dragging an oxygen tank, wheezing. Jack knew him instantly. Todd Williams, Sarah's college boyfriend. Todd was now obese, hair thinning, teeth missing, a shadow of the cocky jock Jack once envied. "Jack Thompson," Todd rasped, grinning. "Heard a lot about you. Sarah still talks you up." Jack's fists tightened, but he stayed calm. "She's been sending you money. How long?" Todd shrugged, slumping onto the porch steps. "Since she married you. Felt guilty for dumping me. I just take scraps meds. Rent. You're loaded, right? That factory's a gold mine." Jack's blood boiled. He pictured Sarah, his beloved wife, funneling cash to this wreck while he worked himself ragged for their family. "How long has she been sleeping with you?" he asked, voice trembling. Todd chuckled, coughing. "Not often. Few times a year when she felt bad. Said you were too busy, didn't see her. I listened." Jack lunged, ready to swing. Todd raised a weak hand. "Easy, man. I'm half dead. You hit me, you'll look like the bad guy." But Jack grabbed Todd's collar, yanking him up. A woman burst from the next house, brandishing a broom. "Let my husband go! He's dying!" Jack released him, panting. Todd crumpled, gasping, his oxygen tank rolling away. The woman knelt by him, glaring at Jack. He looked at the pathetic man before him and realized vengeance was empty. "She chose you," he said, voice hollow. "But she chose wrong." He got in the Mustang and sped back to Willow Creek. As the sunset bled red across the highway, Jack wondered if he'd ever truly known Sarah. Todd wasn't the enemy, just an excuse for whatever Sarah was running from. But that didn't dull the pain slicing through him. Ta-ta-ta. Jack moved to the family's lakeside cabin in Michigan, a wooden retreat nestled among pines, 45 minutes from Willow Creek. The cabin was cozy, with a creaky fireplace, a fuzzy old TV, and a view of the shimmering lake. He worked remotely, managing the factory via emails and calls, dodging any news of Sarah. His days were spent in a makeshift office, his evenings by the water with a cold Coke. The Mustang's hum his only companion. One Tuesday morning, Jack stopped at Lakeside Brew for coffee. The barista, a petite woman with fiery red hair and vivid green eyes, flashed a mischievous grin. "That green Mustang out there's yours, huh? Bet it runs faster than the way you're eyeing me." Jack laughed, a sound he hadn't heard from himself in weeks. "Who are you to critique my stare?" he shot back. "Lily Carter," she said, handing him a steaming cup. "Fresh from Tennessee. My ex thought I wasn't enough because we couldn't have kids. I'm here to find myself. You, Mustang man, what are you running from?" Lily's bluntness caught Jack off guard, but it felt refreshing. He told her about the factory, the car, sidestepping Sarah. Lily didn't pry. Instead, she invited him to an amateur classic car race by the lake that weekend. "You love that Mustang, don't you?" she said. "Let it run." Jack agreed, and race day became a beacon in his dark world. Under a blazing sunset, he and Lily tore down the lakeside road, engines roaring, her laughter louder than the V8. They stopped, breathless, and Lily leapt out, hair wild. "Jack Thompson, you're a hell of a driver, but next time I'm winning." They started meeting regularly, breakfasts at Lakeside Brew, drives along the lake, where Lily shared her dream of opening a bakery. She'd been betrayed, like Jack, but chose to live fiercely instead of drowning in pain. "Sometimes you gotta let go to see the sky," she said one night, as they sat on the Mustang's hood, stargazing. But Jack's wounds lingered. When Lily asked, "Ever think about forgiving her?" he shook his head. "I don't know how to forgive when trust is gone. I gave her everything, Lily. Everything." Lily rested her hand on his, silent. Her quiet comfort meant more than words. Then, one afternoon, Sarah appeared at the cabin. She stood at the door, frail in a thin coat, shivering in the lake breeze. "Jack, I know I don't deserve this," she said, voice breaking. "But I'm begging you. Give me one more chance." Jack stared, a storm of anger, pain, and faint regret swirling inside. "You had your chance, Sarah," he said. "For 25 years. I can't live with someone who didn't choose me." Sarah wept, but Jack shut the door. As her car faded into the distance, he sank onto the couch, hands trembling. For the first time, he felt lighter, as if he'd finally cut free a weight that had crushed him for too long. Weeks later, Carl called. Sarah had requested mandatory mediation before a divorce, per Ohio law. Jack agreed reluctantly, eager to end it. In the meeting room, Sarah sat across from him, beside Tom. She wore a teal dress, the colour of their college days, as if summoning old memories. "Jack," she began, voice cracking. "I cheated because I felt guilty about Todd. He said I owed him for leaving him for you. But I swear I love you. Always have." Jack shook his head, eyes cold. "If you loved me, you'd have stopped. You chose him over and over. You think I can live with that?" Tom leaned in. "Jack, Sarah's wrong, but she's sorry. Can't you see she's trying?" Jack laughed, bitter. "Trying? She didn't tell the truth until she was cornered. I don't want her regret, Tom. I wanted a faithful wife." Then Emma walked in, cradling a visible baby bump. "Dad," she said, eyes wet. "I'm pregnant. I don't want my kid growing up without a family. Please, forgive Mom for me." Jack's heart ached, seeing his little girl, now a woman, pleading. He remembered rocking her to sleep, vowing to shield her from pain. Now she stood begging him to save something he no longer believed in. "Emma," he said, voice breaking, "I love you, but I can't live a lie." "You'll be a great mum, but I need to be true to myself," Emma sobbed, clinging to Sarah. Sarah met Jack's gaze, tears streaming. "You'll regret this, Jack. We're family." "Family isn't built on lies," Jack said, walking out. Days later, Carl called. Todd had died from diabetes complications. Sarah collapsed, hospitalized for a panic attack. Tom reached out. "She needs you, Jack. Just once. Come see her." Jack went to the hospital. Sarah lay in bed, frail, but still beautiful, like the girl he'd fallen for decades ago. She grabbed his hand. "Jack, I'm sorry. I was wrong to hold on to Todd. You're the one I love. Please stay." Jack pulled free, looking at her one last time. "Sarah, I gave you everything, but you were never truly mine. I wish you peace, but I'm done." He walked away, no backward glance. Stepping into the sunlight, he felt a freedom he'd never known. The pain lingered, but it no longer chained him. Chechetum. Jack returned to Willow Creek, pouring himself into Thompson and Sons. He hired Eric as a manager, giving him stability amid his own drama with Emma. The factory hummed, production soared, and Jack found solace in numbers and machines. But what truly revived him was Lily Carter. One evening, Lily showed up at his house, wearing the Mustang Memories t-shirt he'd given her at the race. "Changed my mind?" she grinned, red hair dancing in the breeze. "The world's big, but I want to explore it with you." They began a new journey, not on highways, but in everyday moments. Breakfasts at Lakeside Brew, Mustang cruises along Lake Michigan, backyard BBQs on weekends. Lily opened a tiny bakery in town, and Jack was her first customer, hooked on her cherry pie. The next year, they hit Mustang Memories together. Under a fiery sunset, the Mustang gleaming by the grandstand, Jack took Lily's hand. "I can't promise you the world," he said, voice warm. "But I'll give you all I've got." Lily leaned into him, smiling. "That's enough, Jack." Months later, a letter came from Emma. "Dad, thank you for being the best father," she wrote. "I'm sorry for everything. I named my son Henry after Grandpa. I hope one day he'll see your Mustang." Jack tucked the letter away, a weight lifting. The scars would fade not today, but someday. Outside, Lily called, "Jack, your car's filthy." "Wash it, then take me to the drive-in." Jack laughed, stepping into the sunshine. Life wasn't perfect, but for the first time, it felt worth living.